my friends, and I'm ready for the second part of our lesson about the perspective in interior. And if you remember, we finished our lesson on the drawing part, and when we will start with the colors, I want you just to refresh your memories what the interior is and what's the difference between the picture with interior or just a professional work as the interior designer. So we actually working with you on our interior as the picture. So and that's interior actually let us show what's the personality has that person who live in this room, and in that case it's you and it's your room, or it's your room which is you share with somebody. So when we finished with you guys on the drawing which is I was doing for you. And one more time, I just want for you to remember, when we finish the drawing, we need to check on all lining and make sure that our perspective is right, because otherwise it will be very hard to paint that. And I just want to refresh your memories on the perspective and show you one more time that handy book by the Phil Mesger, and I use it a lot because it has different parts and different types of perspective. So if you remember, we were talking about the perspective of the room with two walls, and I have it here for you to look one more time. So this is the actually the room here already started with all the appropriate linings, and it already has the window or painting on the side. And as we were talking about before, that all linings are in perspective, they go as far away, and they almost wants to meet each other somewhere by the horizon. The same thing I want to kind of attract your attention to the lines of the floor wood sidings and the floor panels, that if you have them, so make sure that they kind of going forward and become smaller. So basically your room is gonna look the same as that picture looks right here. And if you can see, this has two walls picture and floor and some table on it, and two side walls. And on this picture, it's actually the perspective of the famous picture of Leonardo da Vinci, the famous fresque. I will tell you, it's a fresque. It's just a special painting on the walls in a cathedral, and that's actually the picture where the author talking about perspective. It's a group picture in interior. So we're not actually working on something that's significant. We're actually working on the smaller project, but it's always nice to get inspired by the very great pictures of the famous artist. And I want to show you a few just to refresh your memories and kind of get you going on that picture of one of the artists who his last name George Le Bon. He is French, and you can see this picture showing the interior on it. So it's probably the room of the artist. Same thing on this side, you can tell that's the art room, and something going on there. So it's probably the person who posed over there, and the artist discussing the composition, and it was very popular in actually 19th century to do the group composition in interior. Out anybody, that's one of my favorite, and this is of course mango picture of the room, and that's what we will be doing today with you, and that's our inspiration. And I also like I said before, the one of my favorite artists, Vermeer, and I told you about his compositions in the same room. and this is one of them. If you notice, it's always similar interior but the different composition, because he used different setup for his room. And if you can see, this is, for instance, similar room, but it has totally different situation there, something different going on. And look at that floor, how good the our artist showing the perspective in this room. And another one is we just actually painting the interior without the person in it, because we haven't been done that yet. We just work on the portrait and the face features. We haven't done the talking and practicing on drawing the figure, and it's coming up. We're gonna do it, of course, and I will explain you what's the human being proportion and how to put the person into your landscape or interior. It's all coming. You can just, you know, take later lessons and learn how to do it. So first of all, I want to check with the composition, because when we done, I was just drawing without ruler. Helps you to check on your composition, because as I said, our lining should meet each other in the middle. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just check if that's all working for me, and I can just start my painting. So basically this is my lining, and I just want to make sure that it's all done correct. So this is correct in this line. I was thinking that I should work on this a little bit, and just maybe check on my floor and composition on the sides. But besides that, it's actually will work for the painting. So if something went a little bit off, so I can check on that when I will paint. But I offer you to use the ruler if you need, just to make sure that you got it right. And if I said before, the all linings should meet each other somewhere very far away. So, and that's what we're trying to accomplish when we make our composition, so that all linings which is we have for our room, it's in the right position. So one more time I will check on everything so that I can start my painting. And also when you're done, you can clean up a little bit your painting, I mean like your drawing, with the eraser, and just get rid of very thick lining, because when you will paint, some of the colors will be light, and that's why we don't want to have too many lining from drawings, because that will be hard to cover with your painting, and it's kind of will confuse you in a certain way too, because I did just a kind of free drawing, so I have some extra lining, because that's what usually happens when you do free drawing. So you kind of use like few lining, and after when I'm done with cleaning, so I can start my drawing, my painting with the colors. I just want to kind of draw your attention to my setup. So we had that colors hack before with you, and I was explaining you my way to set up my colors, and how I put them in the containers, and which containers I use, and that's very handy when it comes for you to work on your artworks, what the set of the colors you have. And as you can see, I don't have only the colors, the main colors. I also have some extra colors, which will help me to accomplish that task today. And I also have the gray color and that egg shell white, which is I was talking before. We will practice to use this today and mix that together. So I will use that color today for my ceiling, so then it's kind of will be easy for you to follow with what the proportion of the colors I use. So I will get the medium size brush for now, And what I'm gonna have first, of course, you have to have two waters, and that's water for the darker colors, and this the water for the lighter colors, so it's easy for you to use this separate container so that your brush will be clean and you're not gonna make your colors dirty. So always napkin to dry your brush if you need. And I guess that's it. I usually I put some paper on a table when I use this table for my setup table for drawing and for colors, painting colors. I use the paper just in case if I need to check on color, if I'm not sure if that's colored the right color. So that's nice to have just a simple piece of paper. Sometimes it might be just some a scratch paper which is you use for your sketches. As I told you before that you guys can use the sketch first and then transfer your sketch of your interior design to the picture what you're gonna paint later. So that might be that sketch. So if you don't need it anymore, you need to get rid of it, so you can use it as the helper or paper for you. And as I told you before, the palette, it's important to have when you work on mix colors mixes for your painting. So that's it. So I'm just gonna show you maybe one more time my students work, so just to inspire you and let you know that it's kind of doable to do the interior even if you're 8 years old or um, 10 years old and older. So but still this is the task for the beginners. So and then we will start from ceiling, and I will mix for ceiling that actual color which is I use a lot for my work. So I will show you what to do. First of all, we need white, and then you put a little bit of yellow in that, and then you put a little bit of brown in that with the clean brush, of course. And then I will show you what the proportions, because see this now when I put a little bit more brown than I need, it's become just darker, so I need to keep it clean. So for me it's very important to get that actual color, because that helps a lot with my composition. So when I work on this, I want to get that light yellow color, almost white. So and then I use the yellow a little bit and more, and that less brown and more white. So basically it works now. So this is what I got, and this is my light eggshell color which is I'm gonna use for ceiling. So the ceiling will be maybe just even a little bit darker, so more yellowish. So I just add a little bit brown and yellow in that. So this is my ceiling color. So because I will cover my lining for the from drawing, so that I don't see it when I finish. So this is my eggshell color for the ceiling. I have the simple light feature on a ceiling. It's just a tablet. So that's my ceiling. And now I'm just gonna come up with the color for my room. I will use light lavender color. I think that is gonna be nice color for the room. Just kind of neutral. So I get my purple, and I'm going to use some white for this purple, and I also will use some gray color. I have pre-mixed gray color, which is a mix from the white and the black, and I will use that too in my purple. So that's gonna be like the grayish lavender color, which is kind of appropriate for the interior colors. So and that purple will give like a nice cold color for the walls, and the gray kind of take that brightness from the purple. So both of them in the mix will looks like that with the white. So it's some light lavender. And I will, this is the trick which is you have to follow when you work on your interior, that even if the walls will be the same color, but they're not gonna be the same on your picture, because the lights, which is the light will come maybe from the window, maybe from the lights on the ceiling, but that's you're gonna do. You're not gonna color your walls in the same color, because that's how you will show that actually the room has three different walls, and to show that you only have colors to work with. So basically this color, this is going to be the color for this wall, and I'm coloring this right now. It doesn't matter which direction your strokes goes, because it's you might just use this again later just to do the second layer, but I kind of still have tendency to use the vertical strokes, because the I'm kind of go around my features I have, the painting and the lamp on the nightstand, and try to be careful if you think that you're longer to cover the wall, but still it's help you to be very particular and accurate, and don't give yourself extra work to do. So this is my color for this wall. Now that's important moment. So in this color we should add a little bit more purple or a little bit more white. It's up to you, depends what you prefer, because I think that this is my window, so that's the it will be the darkest wall, because the light comes on this wall and it's kind of surrounded by a window, but this wall will be the darker one. So you have to decide it for yourself when you make the composition, then you finish drawing, so where the light comes from. And this is basically the question which is you ask yourself every time you work on a composition, because that's where the light come from. That's how the lights ended up on all subjects on your pictures. It doesn't matter, it's landscape, interior, portrait, it's all about lights. Same thing in the photography. As the famous photographer Annie Leibovitz, she always says it doesn't matter what kind of apparatuses you use as a camera, but it's important what's how you catch the light, where's the light comes from. So same thing here. So because we need the darker color, I will get the darker color. I will use my gray and purple and less white. So my color will be darker for this wall, and that's gonna happen because of the way how the light settled on the wall. So, and this is my darker gray. And I will see if it's enough. I think that is not enough, so I'll just get a little bit of black in that and a little bit more purple, so just to make it a little bit more darker. So because I need to get the darker shade of this purple for especially in the corner, because that's the corner of your room, and that's where the darker purple leave, because of the lights, how the lights spread on inside your room. And so this is my darkest corner, and then because corner, it sounds a little bit tricky. You probably will question yourself a lot why that's gonna be like that, but just trust me on that, and then you will see when you're done that you will see what exactly happening. Because as I told you, you guys should look more for the pictures of interior, maybe in Google, maybe in the art books you have at home. If you're interested in art, you probably have some, so look a little bit for the different interior, and look how artists or on photography how these angles look. So that's important. for you to understand when you are working on your interior, that the walls, they, even if they're the same color, which is true, usually that's how they are painted, but because of the lights, they has a little bit different shade of colors. So like we were working on that gray overcast day, and we work with the gray colors, that they can be different. So it can be the colors can have different shades. It depends, all depends on the light, what's the light color, the surface of the subject, and what that color look like, and what exactly the shade of it. So because it's closer to the window, and I'm very careful not to get on my chair and table that extra purple, because I'm not sure what color they will be yet. It's kind of should come to my mind shortly. So and this is my a little bit lighter corner, that's the darker corner, and the picture in the middle. And by the bed, it can be darker. So, and be careful with the window. Don't cover that, because it's definitely will be different color. So I'm kind of going with that lighter purple. And careful between the details. So it's probably will be a little bit darker than by the window. And just like that, we're covering as much as we can, except the legs of the table and the chair, so our working station. And be careful between the window and the objects. I have the computer there, laptop, so trying to be careful not to cover that. Okay, so this is my other wall, and then I will let this dry, because I want to see, as you know, the actually the acrylic colors, they has tendency to kind of become lighter when they dry. So knowing that, I want just to let that color settle on your picture, and then I will work on my if I need to do the second layer, or I don't know yet, so what's gonna happen. So for now, I just want to do now we have a ceiling and we have three walls. So now we're gonna get the different brush, because I want to leave that purple brush for the next layer if I need to. So I'm just gonna get similar size of brush. I kind of get probably a little bit smaller brush, so because for the floor it's a lot of details on the floor, so I probably need a smaller brush. And I will have kind of wooden floor, will mix together brown with my eggshell color, and see if I need a little bit of orange in that. So kind of nice warm floor color. So I put brown, orange, and some eggshell color in that. So now we'll see if that will work. I think that's a nice color, kind of work together with that color of walls. So very careful going around my parts of the picture, and under the actually bed, I will have darker, I will add some more brown, will have darker tone and a little bit black, so that's kind of will be appropriate, because under the bed there's no light, so it's kind of will be darker there. And this direction for the strokes. So but when it's kind of underneath the bed, and because it's darker there, so my strokes are kind of more horizontal because it's farther away, and that's what I do. I kind of use my horizontal strokes for that part. And then because the floor, it's gonna be like a little 3D trick. Then because the floor kind of goes as a river farther away, so I will change my strokes for kind of more vertical, like diagonal more. Same direction as the floor going as the of floor wooden pieces of the floor, they go in that direction. So that's what I will do. I will kind of follow the same direction, and consider that I have the carpet there. I will just kind of go next to the carpet with my vertical strokes. So closer to us, the lighter floor becomes. So I will use more orange and my eggshell color with less brown, just like that. So that because that's kind of closer, and since the window is here, so here will be lighter floor, of course. So I'll just get a little bit more orange in my color. uh, just like that, our floor will be done. So we're kind of trying to as I said, get the right direction for the strokes. And under the table and under the bed, it's more darker than kind of in the middle of the room. Um, I want to have the fun carpet here, so I will make it black with the different color circles. So I'll use my kind of dark purple and black. Having that egg shell color in gray help you a lot. So this kind of make the colors more neutral, not that screaming bright. Sometimes you need the very bright color, but sometimes because you're trying to make everything in a particular lightening, so you don't want to do really screaming bright colors. So and that's what I'm doing now. So I'm kind of using the light version of black, like a dark gray color. So because that's if you're gonna take that one from the container, it's just gonna be too dark. So and because it's a light in the room, and our room kind of white for now because I'm gonna color them later. So that's my basic color for the carpet. Of the carpet, wider, and another one going into the deep deepness of the interior, it's become a little bit narrow. So that part, that side is shorter, this one wider. Same with the bubbles. The bubbles are in the front will be bigger, and that one, the farther one, will be a little bit smaller. If you want to put the carpet, you can put a carpet on your floor. As I told you, even if you don't have it, you can create some, just make it up, because that helps you to kind of use the right tools for creating your interior. So the carpet at this point, it's a tool to show the perspective. And when I will fill the bubbles, you will see that it's kind of helping to create the interior and make it more interesting, I think. So with the, be careful with the horizontal lining, because as you see, I'm using the horizontal lining for the bed. Just just not to get on your floor if you have the bed there. Be careful. Because there's some lines and colors will a little bit overlap in your pictures, so you have to be ready for kind of finding the right way to connect them. And you're not gonna see the other leg of the bed, so you basically kind of um, don't see it because the bed is wide enough. So, and then when I'm finished with the bed, I will work on my cover, and I will use kind of darker red, I guess, for this. That's what I was thinking, kind of darker. Bed has the same perspective rule, that's kind of goes the same way, so it's kind of wider on the front and a little bit smaller on the sides. So I will use different color for the pillow. I will make pillow kind of, I think, the orange, kind of darker orange. And the pillow is the same way, so it kind of has the wider side here and smaller going to the wall. And now I have to work on my bookcase. So the bookcase probably will be dark brown. So I will just do the brown with the black, I guess. So just darker furniture. So maybe I will add a little bit of purple in that. So it's not the same as the bed color. So maybe a little bit orange in that. Kind of wood color, the darker wood coloring. So this is gonna be my bookcase. And because you have shelves in it, so you kind of need to find where's the shelves are going, and you're gonna have books later, so just color them with the different colors. Don't like really go with details, don't put the names of the books, authors, and the name of the novels, because that's too much, I guess, because you can't like do it for the small picture like that. So and now I think that I can work on my table. The table will be lighter brown, so I will just have the lighter brown color with the yellow and brown, so it will be just a nice warm lighter brown color. Yellow, orange, and brown for this kind of nice furniture color. I guess it's kind of too light. No, not really. So it's okay. Can be like that. And of course, the other side of the table will be darker because that the side get more lights, and this side is kind of farther from the lights. Same thing with the legs because they kind of going uh, toward floor, so they're not that wide. And this leg, make sure that this leg is standing on the floor, another one by the corner, so that how it's supposed to be, because that the table has four legs and it's actually not in perspective, because this side it's gonna be on this just without interruption for the size. It's gonna be the same size as you can see. The other legs will be smaller, so they will be closer to each other. So that's what I'm trying to say. So they will be closer to each other because this is wider and the other ones are kind of closer to each other. They're more narrow. So, and now I can work on my night table, and my night table will be maybe black, like kind of dark. Any colors in on my interior, so we kind of have to work together with each other. So actually I can do the dark green, so I will just do the dark green, so a black and green. That would be the nice color. And the night table will be just square kind of type. And this is my other side. Because the light comes on this, so it's gonna be whiter. And top will be even more lighter. So that's why I'm just trying to make the colors neutral and not very bright, but because it's kind of young people, probably person room, I will use some bright and modern shapes in there too. So then I will use maybe yellow for my bubbles here. But they'll come kind of yellow, not very bright. And lamp cover. And now I want to work on my picture right there. So I will make the wooden frame. Some wood color I have already here. But light. Not too dark. Because I don't have the same color as my bed has here. So. And I also want to have some house there. That's my house. And the house will be some with the link. And I need a grass. So the last thing will be probably grass to put in the picture. On this picture, but just for now that will be good enough. Same thing with the frame actually, guys. You have to show the lights on it, so then it's gonna be kind of more professional. And then the other painting over there, I will just have the gold frame for that. So use my orange and yellow to create the gold color. And that's my painting. This wall, if this picture just has the same size, the other one right here, it's actually will follow the perspective, so you have to make a little bit different side Like for instance, this will be the bigger, that's a little bit smaller. So, and then I've got to do my other bubbles. So get the bubbles here to finish my like city landscape on the other painting. So will be like a dark sky. And maybe some like Van Gogh cafe. That was the light. It's hard to determine what can be there because this in perspective it's on the wall which is deformed, so that's we can just leave it like that for now and see what we can do later if we need any correction to that. And then I need to show my computer on the table. Usually a laptop has kind of gray metal color, so that's what I'm going to use. And then it's probably some screen here, working screen, and the keyboard is darker. And working chair, I can do black with the red cushion, for instance. Later for something, but for now I'm just going to use first of all I need to clean a napkin, and then we'll use the smaller brush now for details. First of all, I don't want to spoil my window, so I need to have the white frame for the window, so we use my egg shell with white and a little bit of blue in this too, just for the frame. This window, and in the window it's up to you what can be there. You can just have the kind of blue sky there and a little bit of scape. So then just gonna be maybe trees, so we'll have some blue sky in that, just a light blue. This is the picture, that's most important. In window just have a little bit of blue sky, for instance, and some trees, so that will be kind of enough, because something which is usually the covers are kind of darker, I think, or lighter, depends on the book. It's just up to you which one you're going to use. Don't put too many dark ones, so kind of use the lighter colors for book covers, since they're not going to be, and the lighter colors will be nice, so just kind of nice shades of colors which is neutral. I think that I have to now kind of get rid of the white spots too, and the lamp will be very simple, so we can use the just a white, almost white color for it. With the kind of gray metal in modern apartments, so just a glass. And basically, when you work on your uh, little details, just be careful, don't overdo them, because then it's gonna be kind of the not supporting details, but details which scream with the different colors and asking too much attention, and it will be hard to look at your picture, because uh, your people, or your relatives, or some people who you will show your work, they will kind of go over like little details, and they're not gonna see the whole picture. But your picture is your interior, and you're showing the kind of personality of the person who live there, and that's the main point. So I'm trying to tell you that one more time, so that you kind of don't get lost in the kind of little details of the designer project, instead of just kind of like follow the task we have. So, and you can always who will look at your work. So just harmonize them as much as you could, so that they just kind of become the one living creature on your work. And make sure that you don't leave the white spots, as I always say, because that's kind of diminish your ability to look as a professional artist. That's why I just kind of found the work, try to clean the spots, so that it looks more finished and accomplished. And it helps you to kind of create the more professional work in that point. And same thing with the sky there, to kind of get a little bit of the right shape of color, shade of color. And same thing with our landscape. All details which is appropriate, they are nice to be done, because then it's kind of help you to get the image of this room done right. So that kind of details, they kind of appropriate, because then it helps you to accomplish the task. So it's not like going over the borders, it's just stay in the borders of your picture of your room. Same thing with the just the design. You can put like some the decoration on top of the bookcase if you have one. I'm not sure if you have one, but I put one. So I like books, so I have one. So it's just kind of my thing. So I think that it works for the interiors when you have the bookcases there. Kind of make them more cozy and warm. And same thing with the frame on the other wall. So kind of work a little bit toward the shape on that frame. Same thing, so I need less drawing on it. So, and with a lighter tone for them. But the books there, you're not thinking about like particular book or something. You just create the kind of mass of books, so in a bookcase. So that's easier to accomplish, because if you're gonna work on each cover of the book, that's what kind of hard to do, and it's not necessary, because that's not what we need. It's just bookcase. It's just something which is stay there, but it's not something which is the main character on our picture. And I think that maybe so probably need some nice outlining. I don't have curtains, but you can put curtains. Just gonna cover some frame, some part of the frame. Table. This has some light from the window on it. A bit of work on my nightstand would be nice to finish and clear the lines a little bit. Since it's kind of works for perspective when you clear the shapes on your picture, so that's kind of help us to see where's the interior going, which way, where it's taking you. And little that task, so that the pieces of your interior, they goes right direction and have the right colors. And maybe shade here, so that's kind of will look more natural. So all these colors, they help you to create the right lightning on your picture. So, and that's why I put attention to that a lot, and kind of trying to finish that with the more detailed attention, because some of these shapes and colors are critical, because they help you to create the 3D image on your subject, especially like when I work on this cover for the lamp right now. So I see that the few strokes of color kind of make it more 3D, and same thing about every object here. So anything you do to create the right lightning on this picture will help you to that wall, because it's just too light. And with the floor, I'm kind of happy with the floor. I guess I need more attention to the bookcase, because it's kind of doesn't really look finished yet. Need some deep brown color for it. Just for the shelves. Same thing with the table over there. And bed, I don't worry about bed too much, because it's just in that part where we don't really experience any changes in the shape, because it's just standing by that wall, which is doesn't have any perspective on it. So, but it still needs to be looks like more as a piece of furniture, so you kind of add some details in hope to make it more real. With the carpet, just outline a little bit that my bubbles. Kind of was a good idea with the bubbles, I think. make this more modern and colorful. And the computer table need some details too. Corner of this wall, which is in front us, I can add some maybe shadows in the corner of this room, since that part is more darker, and I think that that would be enough, except I just wanna maybe for the wood, I want just give some direction to the floor, kind of not too much, but just enough to kind of play with that line, which is kind of going the right direction, and that's gonna help to kind of lead you to the other side of the room. And this is just a light shade of the same color you already have, just kind of shadows on the wood design. That's pretty much it, so not like too much of the color, just some light strokes on the direction of where they go and how they work with the interiors. So you're finishing, they kind of works both way. You might just overdo something, but sometimes you like little final strokes can help to highlight something, and I like that because then you feel more satisfied with your work, and kind of feel make you feel better. So, but please don't overdo something when you already have something looks nice. Just be careful not use some um, the color which is gonna ruin your work. So I want just get some highlight on the blanket, because by the window it's gonna have some lighter color here, and it's just gonna help us to kind of outline that and make it more alive. Same thing with the pillow, just get some highlights and to show the shape. You can make your room the way how you feel your room look like, and just follow the directions I gave you, and you will be just fine. And you can practice few times. You can make actually the sketch and then work on it, and you can create few interior. You can create your friends room, or kitchen, or any room in your house. Just enjoy that, because it's interesting when you actually will get the idea. So this is my interior, and of course it's not finished exactly to last because, as I said, that was my imaginary picture of imaginary room, and I think that you can do the much more better job because you can have something to look at. But the main point of what I was trying to teach you to do is create the some environment inside your room, and it's not about what exactly, how exactly it's created. It's about of who lives there, and about impression about the room. And the main point is just to try to create that 3D environment in your work on the 2D uh, white paper. Thank you for listening, and if you have any questions, write to me, like my channel, and see you next time.